Hold on. All right, now we're recording. Owen and Aurora were super fast. I submitted a poll. So this morning I go to do a poll. I actually was going to name it the Morton poll because I know this is based on Ms. Morton's question. I've done it in the past. But the idea of like, I think Olivia last week said, can we ask or can we offer suggestions about books that, to change, to move, or whatever else? And she, absolutely. And the overall reason is I try to change at least one book every year. There are years when I will swap out two or three, and there's different reasons for that. Their reasons include maybe BOCES doesn't have the book anymore, or maybe we were going to order it and we couldn't get it in time, or whatever. There's a lot of reasons for it. But I try to swap stuff, and to be selfish, I think I put this in the instructions. To be selfish, it's a little bit for me too, because I like to change up what I teach. I don't have to do the same thing all the time. So I was going to call this the Morton quiz. So Aurora and Owen jumped on it. And here's the problem. This morning, I also sent an email to Mrs. Hinsdale, Mrs. Johnson, because the form thing, we did a form before and the seniors did too. It worked fine. Now it's gone. Like for me, what I see has changed. So I put it together like I thought it would work, and Aurora and Owen did theirs, and I can't see their comments. So it's like they commented, and whatever they sent went into this gigantic black hole garbage can in the middle of the interwebs, and so they're gone. So I'm going to ask respectfully. So Owen and Aurora, I apologize. If you don't mind, and you can abbreviate too. I don't want you to have to sit down and rewrite a whole ton. But if you could send me your responses in an email. This is an ungraded thing. This isn't an assignment. You won't get points for this. But I genuinely want to hear from you. I want to know what you think we could dump and what you think we should keep. As an example, so for instance, and I have to talk to Mrs. Muscarella, but books that I would include that I didn't this year could be things like, and no, Aurora, I'm not doing Huck Finn, I'm not doing it. They would include something like Of Mice and Men, done differently. I also have a couple other books that go with that. Not so much that one, but other ones. One that I didn't do, because I'm not a big fan, and I don't think your class would have liked it. The makeup of you all, I don't think you would have liked Catcher in the Rye. A couple of you might, but I know that I don't like Catcher in the Rye. Like, it's okay, but I think, not to ruin anybody's life, or I know Aurora's already mad at me again, not to ruin anybody's life or anything, but I think Holden Caulfield, who's the main character, is nowhere near as cool as some people think he is. I think he's a whiny kind of spoiled brat who's just like mean to people. But at the same time, you have to get deep into the book to figure out like what's wrong with him, like what's going on. And once you get there, it kind of makes sense. But I don't view this dude as some sort of like super cool kid, because there are people, if you look online, people like Holden Caulfield's my hero. I wish I was just like him because he sticks it to the man all the time. No, it's no good. I don't care for it. So anyway, but that's an example. I have other books. Because we didn't do The Road, and actually read The Road again when I was camping the other day, and I got to the end and I was like, that's a really good book. I forgot how good it was. We left out a bunch of stuff. But when it comes chronologically to American literature, there are gaps we had. So, but here's the deal. I can't cover everything. So I would dump one and add one. There's still going to be a gap, and it's fine with me. Realistically, when I was at the University of Buffalo, I took every single American literature class, which at the time was numbers 330 through 339. So all 10 of those courses. I took all of the American Lit courses. There's so much out there. There's no way that I could cover everything. And I haven't even covered drama, American drama, and I won't, because I think drama's okay, but I just don't, I'm not very good at it, and I would leave it out. But I want your answers, please. I really do. I mean that sincerely. Morton spurred my memory, but I agree with her completely. Tell me what I should keep. Tell me what I should dump. And if you have suggestions, throw out suggestions too. There are well-read kids here. For instance, maybe there's you were with Armstrong. Maybe there's a section of American history that you liked that we could cover more from. There is stuff out there. There's some other really good nonfiction stuff that covers American history that's worthwhile too. So if you have ideas, let me know. But I'm very lucky, very fortunate. BOCES in Panama will get me just about any book I want. We'll have to buy them or they'll buy them, but they do. They always get me what I want. There's never been a time. I've been 20 years at Panama, as shown by Swanee's picture a couple weeks ago. 20 years at Panama, I've never not been able to do a book. I always get the book, and I'm lucky. All of us English teacher people are lucky there. So that's all on that topic, dealing with books, keeping and dumping books. Any questions about the keeping, dumping book thing? Any questions from anybody? As I take a drink of my Super Dad coffee mug, look at that. Any questions from anybody? All right. Some of you are eating. Harvey's chewing in slow motion because it's like keeps glitching. So I see like your head going like this, and then this, and then this, and this. So anyway, okay. So now let's talk about grades stuff. Many of you, I've already put grades in for this discussion. What you're doing now for Into the Wild, this is the last assignment of the year. There are no other assignments. This is it. So I've put in the grades for all of the initial posts. As our last Zoom meeting stated, you should have your initial post done by last Saturday. We moved it a couple days, remember, because of the late start for the holiday. So it should have been by Saturday, and all of your replies should be by tonight. So tonight at midnight is the end. I'm not going to say it's the end of the class. If you have issues, if something's gone on, and I'm recording this, so I'll post this later. I know that you all here might not have issues, but if someone else does, let me know. There are reasons why, all sorts of things happening, and I don't want to get into like all the protests and things that are happening around the country, but I do know that local younger children are, I'm including you as children because most of you, if not all of you, are minors. Some of you are traveling places to go do that. You should at least, and again, I know it's not easy to do in Panama, but you should witness things like this if you have the chance to. Of course, I want you all to be safe, and there's no guarantee of that at this moment right now, although Buffalo, Erie, and Jamestown have been generally okay. Other cities have been much worse. But if, for instance, you did that, then that's, these things happen. So again, the expectation is tonight at midnight, all replies should be done. I hope to have those graded quickly. I'm not going to be at 12:01 a.m. I'm not going to be online and grading them, but tomorrow morning I'll grade them. Tomorrow I go to Panama to close out my classroom and take stuff off the walls and everything like that. So I'll be around. And then I've already started kicking back. The JCC essays, those have been starting to come back to you guys. And now I have plenty of time. So let's talk grades. Everything that you have is now or will be in. The last two assignments are the replies for the Into the Wild, and some of you that have your JCC essay 3.3. That's all I have. I double checked before this class to make sure that I didn't have like a weird errant bin in Google Classroom that was hanging out. That's it. So you can now do a little bit of self-service, and I don't know when Armstrong's done. If anybody wants to volunteer and let me know, that'd be great. For 15:30, I'm talking about Armstrong's 15:30, 15:40. Whenever he's done, he can probably say the same thing. So you can look at your grades and see what your average is. That's the average and it's a regular year one course. So your average is what it is. I think 93 and above for the year is an A. So to be aware of that when it comes to transferring things and whatever else, that's what you should be aware of. If you have any questions about grades, you should email me. You should contact me. No one has really done it this year, but every now and then, every couple of years, somebody sends Mr. Simmons an email, or somebody sends, in this case, Mrs. Cook, because she's the current principal, send her an email saying, hey, there's this grade that I don't like or whatever else. And they will tell you or ask you, did you talk to Mr. Becker? And if you haven't, that's their first thing. They're going to say, go talk to him. So let me know if there's a problem. Please keep me posted and go from there. But the grade you see, if you look at our syllabus, which you were given a long time ago, your Y1, which is year one, your grade there corresponds on the syllabus to a letter grade, and that's what it is. So be aware of that as you're moving forward. That might make decisions for you about next year. That might make decisions for whether you want to do a pass-fail grade. Remember, you can choose until July, early July, if you want to change it to a pass-fail grade, which is basically a C or above, I believe, is a pass. Below that is a fail. For some of you, if you're concerned you don't like your grade, you're not happy with a C plus or with a B, you could choose that. However, since most, if not all of you, have a college in mind to go to, if you know what that college is, if you're like dying to go someplace, and I don't know, as an example, because we have some athletes here too, using Ashlyn as an example. If Ashlyn has already decided on a college, Ashlyn should contact that college to see what they want. I did this with Cam Barmore. We had this conversation last year with a couple of the seniors too, and whether they were going to one school or the other, whether they should keep or drop physics, or whether they should keep or drop another class they're taking. Call the college. If the college says we don't accept pass-fail, we only accept letter grades, then obviously don't choose that if you want the class to transfer. So it's a complex decision, and I can help you with some of that. Mr. Simmons and Mrs. Schnars can help you with that as well too. So grade conversations done from my end. Are there questions from any of you about grades, grading, and so on and so forth, including pass-fail stuff? Anybody have any questions about that? And I'll wait a moment. Drink some more coffee.
I have one.
Ooh, Miss Morton, go ahead.
Will you be doing it as passed, not passed, and incomplete, or are you going to be going by grade wise?
Are you talking for the pass-fail thing I was just mentioning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so first let me say, so that is not a decision for me. That's not my decision. So this is probably a good time to mention, there's two report cards here. You have your Panama report card, which is, you get that in the mail or whatever else. That's not going to be a pass-fail. That's going to be the number. So that's not going to change. For the pass-fail, we're talking about JCC. So and I'm confident it's a C and above. So if you had and there's no minus grades at JCC in case you forgot. So it's a C, C plus B, B plus A. So that's how those go. So if you had a C, which is passing, but you don't like that, you don't like what that would do to your average, there is a form you fill out with JCC. You do it with them. It's not big. It's actually relatively simple. You have to sign it. Honestly, I don't think the school has to sign it. I think this is a you decision. I mean, I can help you with it, but you would look at the form and say, yes, I want to, whatever. And then you'll submit it to them. And again, it's late this year. It's way after my grades are due. You can still choose pass-fail into July, which never happens. It's because of COVID and all that stuff. If you want to do that, you'll do it with them. So you'll still have your Panama report card with whatever that number is, and then your JCC transcript. Again, you're in, I don't even know all the stuff you're in. I know you're in Armstrong's class, right? 1530, 1540?
In chemistry.
Okay, so, is Chem a college class?
No.
Okay, yeah, so it's just so it's me and Armstrong right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got those two, and then you can make that decision. And then, Olivia, for you as well, it's worth considering whatever, and I've mentioned this too, I won't put you on your spot right now, but Olivia, it's whatever you're deciding to do next year, that may make decisions for you with that pass-fail too. So, and I know you guys are making some of those decisions and all that stuff. So, so thank you, Olivia. I hope I answered the question. I am willing to help with all of you. So I actually spoke to the English guy at JCC yesterday as we're getting together to end the meeting, or end the year rather. More questions about grades from anybody? I know Alexis may be relieved or not, but we have no Allie Pennington for some reason, so that automatically cuts my questions by 2/3. Maddie, is that waving at a bug, or do you have a question, Maddie Johnson?
No, it's just a bug.
Very good. I see you're going like, hey, look at me. And instead, you're trying not to die from a mosquito bite. So, okay. All right. So I really like, and I don't know if it's the last 2 weeks, maybe it's the book, and any of you are willing or welcome to share with me what it is. But I'm really happy with the discussion, and I'm also really happy and impressed. So I'm going through the posts yesterday. I looked at them again today. I'm really impressed at the times when people don't agree with one another. It's really easy to agree with things that people say. And that's what some posts are, because you just agree. But I'm really happy and impressed with the people that don't agree, because like they say, you're bringing receipts with you. So whatever you're like, oh, I don't think that's right, and here's some examples. Um, I think that's good. Those are the sort of things that I would want to happen if we were face to face. And at least with Into the Wild, that works. So just as a quick yay or nay, and you're welcome to unmute and share with me, I think Into the Wild is a good book. It will end up being our book that we end the year with. Was this a good book to end the year with, or should I have gone with The Road? Again, I had it. I could have given it to you, but I didn't. The Road, which is pretty dark for a lot of it until the end. Into the Wild, does that end up being a good book to end the year with? I mean, do we like the book? We don't like the book? I know we're discussing in class and in Blackboard about whether he's mentally ill or not. We've talked about that a lot. Good book, not good book. What do you say? And Nora and Emily are like wandering the halls, so they probably can't respond much. But what do you think? Good book or not good book to end the year with? Okay, good book. I see a thumb. I see yes. Okay. Aurora, and by the way, while Aurora is ready to speak, I really, besides me having my Second Amendment hat on, I really like, this is a book where I appreciate having somebody like, and this is no offense to anybody else, I think Morton Uhant too, if I remember correctly, or did. Petrie, I think it was, talking about, like, if this guy really wanted to be like, and I hate to use the term prepper, but if he really wanted to survive on his own, he would have brought a larger rifle and been better to defend himself and all those type of things. And I'm sure that's why Colin chose chose that question. But I really liked his response on that too. And so that's the sort of thing I like, these different questions, because I get different responses from this. And I agree too. It's not exactly like I'm out there shooting, all sorts of ridiculous ammunition, but it's really hard to defend yourself with like a 22 or less, where animals are 2,000 pounds, which is pretty much all of Alaska. Even things like elk and moose and all that stuff are gigantic out there. Aurora, go ahead.
I think it was a good book because a lot of this stuff is open to interpretation. It's more of a neutral book, so you can take either side, I guess. There's a lot of opinion that goes into it, and like you have to kind of internalize it and make your own opinion based on the facts that are given. So I liked it.
Now, a book that I didn't give you, but it's another Tim O'Brien book, and I've mentioned this to somebody. It might have been Olivia. I've mentioned this book. It's called Into the Lake of the Woods. It's another Woods book. And the premise of the book is that this guy's wife, he's a congressman, this guy's wife disappears. And it's fiction, by the way. It's not nonfiction. It's not true. And his wife disappears. And the entire book is about the investigation into finding out where she is. And this is not really a spoiler, because it says it at the beginning. They never find her. They don't find her. They don't find a body. They find nothing. And so you're given this list of stuff. Each chapter that goes on, you get more and more stuff, and you have to make determination of what it is. So I do agree. I think that there's a lot of that here with the book. Anyone else have a comment before I ask another question or two? We're setting a record for how many braids Olivia can put in her hair in the space of 30 minutes. I think we're on number 3 right now. So that's impressive right there. I don't know what Owen's kind of letting us down with whatever we've got going on. But so I think it was Izzy, and she's not here today, unfortunately, but Izzy made a really cool comment, and some of you have piggybacked on that too, about his parents, whether his parents are, I don't know if you want to say to blame, if it's their fault, if they are responsible. There's a lot of different ways to put that. And most of my questions touched on it, but I don't think, first of all, some questions weren't chosen because some people did not reply. So that's one thing. But some of the questions dealt with Chris's understanding about his father and how that went, and that changed things for Chris. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but I'm happy with some of the comments you guys have made, that parents matter, right? And that when parents, even if they do great stuff, that's being responsible for your kids, and that's responsible for how children are raised and brought up and stuff like that. And of course, we know when parents aren't great, that there are repercussions for that as well, right? So those are the type of things that are his. How much are his parents responsible? You got Chris, and you got the parents. I know he's an adult, I get that, and he's old enough to make his own decisions, but who's more responsible for his death? Is it his parents' fault? I should rephrase it. Does anyone think it's his parents' fault? Or is it all him? Like, he's an adult, he can make these decisions. He jumps a creek and go a river and heads out to an abandoned bus, and that's on him. So does anybody think it's like his parents share a fair size burden for this? And I see a bunch of you, but I also don't see a bunch of you. So anybody else share with that besides Aurora? Aurora could later. Anybody that hasn't spoken yet, say anything? Alexis, well, Sarah's got a baby. I won't pester Sarah. Nora, go ahead.
I feel like they played at least a small part in it, because
The
they
parents.
kind of controlled his life and
Okay.
told him what he had to do and what he couldn't do and stuff like that. So he wanted to get away from it all.
I mean, you guys are of the age now. You know, I would guess you know this. You guys are of the age now where, like, there is a time when you have to stop telling kids what to do, because when you do, then they can. I hate to use the word rebel because it's kind of lame and it's kind of cliche, but you start forcing kids to only do certain things and not allow them to do their interests, not just general stuff like saying your kids, okay, you can't do math. No math for you, none of that. And then, oh, mom, I wish I could do math. And that's not what most kids want. But when you're talking about going outside, hiking, camping, getting a job, playing sports, playing different sports, playing travel sports, which I know some of you have gone through, and that's pretty much year-round softball for like Ashlyn and other people too. It's not just Ashlyn. Volleyball people, Maddie, at least wherever Maddie is, she's not being chased by bugs right now. Maddie did gymnastics and does travel volleyball and stuff like that too. Like, it's a lot of stuff. If you want to do things and your parents don't let you, and they're reasonable, that can have an effect too. So, all right, fair enough, Nora. I can accept that. Owen, do you have anything to say, Owen? Wiping his nose. Thank you, Owen. I appreciate that. It's on the back of his hand. Emily, maybe like she is seated and has stopped chasing kids. That's fine. Carson Petrie, anything to add on this about his parents? I know you've already, I mentioned Colin talking about the hunting thing and having a better rifle. But anything else you can say or offer about this, whether his parents are to blame or not? They're not unmuting. I don't think they're going to talk.
I have something.
Ooh, Alexis, go ahead. And you're not
Okay,
babysitting, right, Alexis? You don't have a child like floating around you right now?
No, definitely not.
Very good. What do you got?
I kind of agree with Nora and Aurora. I think that everyone has so many different interpretations on the parent part of the book, but I think it's depending on how you were raised too. That's what causes us to have different opinions. But I think that the way he was brought up, maybe he just didn't like it, and so what he was doing was just trying to escape, and maybe he was trying to do things for like a cry for help, but like no one really noticed it maybe, or something like that. But I definitely think that your upbringing has a lot to do with how you end up. Like they say strict parents cause like sneaky kids. I think it's kind of something like that, except in his case it's like he just wanted to get away from it all.
Okay. Thank you, Alexis. And I want to just add right now, I'm unaware of anybody feeling really terrible or suffering or any of that type of stuff. I'm talking to you guys in the class. So I'm going to speak just quickly about mental illness, and I'm not aware of anyone feeling bad, and hopefully we're not triggering anybody by having the conversation. But the point is that there's lots of different ways that people show a need for help or asking for help. Almost never is somebody physically going to say help. They're going to actually say that word as they're speaking and go to you or go to someone and say, I need help. I need someone to help out because I'm having a very difficult time. It happens, but it's rare. But kind of like what Alexis says, behavior will be something that suggests that sort of thing. You'll have substance abuse, not so much getting into it because once you are addicted, you are addicted, but choices, the things that people do. From when I was a kid, a billion years ago, I had friends of mine that would drive, and they had like not great cars, they had kind of yucky cars and stuff. They'd drive like 1,000,000,000 miles an hour every place, kind of begging to get pulled over for speeding, kind of begging to get in trouble. And it was a matter of, for a couple of my friends, of course I know them, or I knew them, I haven't spoken to a couple of them in a long time. They really just they weren't getting attention from their parents, and getting pulled over and getting a speeding ticket for going far too fast was a way for them to kind of force their parents to pay attention. And not even so much yelling at them or not, but parents notice when you get a speeding ticket in their car and their insurance goes up, like they'll know that. And so those are like cries for help. A student that does that, a child, boy, girl, they're not getting the sort of attention from their parents they need. And parents have to give their kids attention. They must. That's part of being a parent. Like, you've got to go out of your way to do those things. So I would agree that, this is, maybe it was like a cry for help. And I think, and maybe it was Alexis. Somebody's, it's not in front of me because I didn't split screen. Somebody's initial post was talking about how the parents hired a private investigator, but if they really wanted to do more, if they really wanted to find him, they probably could have done more, to find somebody. And that's kind of a deciding factor as well. Okay, so it is nearly 12:30. Are there any further points to bring up? I am reading the discussion. I'm reading the post and stuff. Any further points from anybody about the book? Okay, so I'm sure you know this. We've said this a million times. You will be the first class of mine that's over for the year. So after today's Zoom meeting, that is the conclusion of this class. Again, make sure you finish your replies because those are due by midnight. I did put some grades in for that, but a bunch of people still have not replied yet, so I'm aware of that. To say repeatedly for about the 1,000,000th time, this is not how I thought the year would go. It's not how I wanted the year to go. It would have been much better to have been together for a million reasons. Even not for my class, for you to be in school doing kids stuff, and I know that's unfortunate. I do hope that next year does not have this happen. Of course, I do hope that we are face-to-face in late August, early September, and that we are in the same class and we can, sometime later look back at this and go, yeah, well, that was stupid. Wasn't that dumb? It's terrible. And hopefully it'll be over. No matter what, since I don't know the next time I'll see any of your faces, for those of you whose faces I saw, I hope you take care of yourself. I hope you have an enjoyable summer. I hope you, do the things you want to do. It's really, really important for all of you to recharge this summer because we have all been through an awful lot. We have dealt with a bunch of nonsense, and I don't even know what's happening in your houses. So for all I know, you have tension among your family in your house too. That's normal. Take the chance to relax some this summer if you can, because there's never been a summer like this. This is the first time anybody's ever had to deal with this stuff. So I hope that you're all okay. I hope you take care of yourself. And some way, shape, or form, I look forward to talking to you soon. Remember, ask questions, send me emails if you have problems or concerns with grades. Otherwise, it has been my pleasure to work with you this year. I sincerely hope that I'm able to work with you next year as well, same way. And I look forward to that and have a great summer. So take care. And those of you babysitting, no hitting the kids, throwing fruit snacks at them will generally keep them well behaved. Fruit snacks are delicious. I mean, we can all agree with that. So find them. Sarah's is probably too young for fruit snacks. So I don't know if you want to stir some good stuff in the bottle when you're giving whatever you want to do. I'll let you decide. But take care, enjoy, and survive babysitting. And we'll see you guys soon.